Okay, folks, up for sale today, I've got a nice little 1994 Land Rover Defender 90 in Nardo Gray with the 200 TDI. This is a right-hand drive UK import. It has been legally imported. It's now located here in Michigan and comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So let me walk you around the vehicle. I'll show you inside, outside, underside, and we'll take it for a test ride. All right, so starting up front here, we've got a this is from a newer Discovery. I think these push bumpers, pretty sweet, looks good on the front end there. And we got a newer style front bumper as well with the Puma style bumperettes and the lights. These lights are not wired up, but they could be. LED signals, halogen lights, nice gloss black trim rings, standard grille. That looks like a new radiator as well. Under the bonnet here, this is the 200 TDI. Very fresh, clean looking motor, and I can see right away that is a new head gasket. So the head gasket has recently been done. No leaking out of the valve covers, return pipes, or fuel lines or anything like that. Looks like a new lift pump. Brake booster looks good. There's your VIN tag if you want to pause it and look at that. Bulkhead, a little bit of surface rust here, nothing too serious though. Footwells seem to be in good shape, and bulkhead corners, those have been replaced and repaired, so those are in good shape. We do have a fiberglass bonnet, and this is gloss black with a gray hood scoop on the front. Move it around here, we do have a snow cowl for the air intake, which is nice. We got a nice set of Defender Boost alloys. These have been painted black, and a sensible set of all-terrain tires. These are, what are they? Falcon, maybe. I don't know. Can't tell. Oh, Nokian. There we go. Nokian. All right, a little bit of a aftermarket badging here. Snorkel. Windscreen seals in good shape. No chips or cracks in the windscreen. Vents look good. A little bit of corrosion here around the hinge. Pretty typical actually. Passenger door, pretty decent shape. Tiny little bit of corrosion there. And on the bottom, pretty decent. The door frames are in good shape. This has been repaired, but is in really good shape. No rust on the bottoms. Door cards, really good shape as well. On the interior, we got an aftermarket set of carpet on the seat boxes. Exmoor trim carpet set. And the footwells, pretty decent shape. This is Arles blue originally. So yeah, sheet metal is in good shape. There's a little bit of moisture here. Unfortunately, it's really hard to keep a Defender dry. These door seals, they do a decent job, but a lot of times we get water dripping in here and they'll just drip right onto the floors. Best thing for these Defenders is to keep them dry at all times, but sometimes they leak a little bit. All right, full length roof rack, gloss black roof. We got aftermarket windows. They've been tinted a little bit dark, which is nice. We do have these attachment points here for cargo straps. I'm thinking they would go up towards the roof rack maybe, but I don't exactly know what those are for. A little bit of checker plate there by the rear arch, gloss black arches, and we'll get a look at the underside of the vehicle later. There's a little patch right there on the bottom of the chassis, but the chassis looks pretty solid. It needs to be scraped and painted, and it has had a new rear cross member replaced, so that has been done. So the rear cross member is in pretty decent shape, although it looks to have been done maybe 10 years ago or so. So this wax oil has definitely expired, needs to be redone. And the outside of the rear cross member, pretty decent shape. I see a little bit of surface rust here where it could be scraped and painted again as well. Adjustable tow hitch, a step to get in the back. Corners, capping's pretty decent shape. A little bit of paint flaking here, and same around the seal here where it was taped. Rear door, pretty decent shape. It does have glass in the rear, no defrost, no wiper. Again, homemade door card for the rear, and on the interior, same deal. This is not professionally done, but it is super solid. All right, this is like plywood up here. So very solid, and as you'll see later on in the video, this thing rides like new. There are zero squeaks coming out of here. Bushings, body mounts, shock springs, all good. And this is one of the quietest Defenders I've ever been in. So keep watching for that. Here we are on the driver's side. Some checker plate here on the corners. Same sliding windows. Rear cross member. A little bit flaky, but that could be scraped off and repainted. Again, this is going to be one of my most reasonably priced Defenders. Runs and drives mint, but just needs a little bit of cosmetic work. Here's the driver's door. Same deal. A little bit of a repair there on the bottom, but good shape now. We got these aftermarket seat covers as well, like a tweed techno pattern, I think is what it's called. And we do have 136,000 miles on the clock. We'll go ahead and start it up. You can hear the heat is coming on nice and strong. Glow plug light comes on and off. And see if we can get that battery light off. Yeah, so the alternator's working, gauges are working. Engine is running nice and smooth. Very good sounding motor. See if we can get to this oil cap here. Alright, pretty clean looking oil. No frothy head gasket. No blow by or back pressure, and no smoke out of the tailpipe either. So it's running mint. Alright, let's get underneath it now. Okay, so here we are at the rear of the vehicle, and this does have a 300 TDI axle, which gives you the disc brakes, which is nice. And I can see a new set of shocks there. The springs are a little rusty, but there's a good look at the rear cross member. The bottom of the chassis rails, pretty decent shape. That's where they normally get pretty rusty, right there. But again, this is a replacement rear cross member. And there's your A-frame ball joint, your fill plug, tiny little bit of a leak there. Rear springs, rear brakes, and calipers all looking good. This is the passenger side. So there's a good look at the chassis. A little bit flaky. This thing just needs to be cleaned up, scraped and painted. But I don't see anywhere that needs to be welded or patched. There's a small patch right there. There's the middle of the chassis. Again, a little bit flaky. There's your front outrigger. That looks to be in decent shape. There's the bottom of the battery box. That's in good shape. And then there's your new muffler. Center diff looks good. And the front axle. And this is the driver's side. Chassis. Same story. A little bit dirty, a little bit flaky, but looks pretty solid. There's your fuel tank here. And there's your driver's side front outriggers. Bottom of the engine, front axle, center diff, brake. We got a new drive shaft. And there's the back side of the rear axle, or the front side. Okay, driver's side front axle. Swivels look to be in good shape. We are missing the dust covers on the front rotors. Steering drop arm ball joint looks good. And there's the bottom of the engine, looks super tidy. I haven't cleaned that off. So that is in really good looking shape. Sump seal is good. There's your front shocks and front swivels, looking real good. So all in all, pretty decent shape under here. Okay, so let's go take it for a test ride down the road. And one thing I want to mention about this vehicle, the first time I got in it and drove it, I was like really surprised. I thought I was in like a brand new vehicle basically. And I've driven hundreds of Defenders, well at least over 150. And this is top 10 as far as solid, bump absorbing, non-squeaking, non-rattling Defenders, which they're kind of known for. This thing rides and sounds like it's brand spanking new. Even though the shocks and springs aren't quite brand new, it's got all sorts of, it's got, we're going over potholes here, all right? Listen to that, it's solid. I don't hear any rattling. It just absorbs the bumps and it feels like a brand new vehicle. So whoever did the suspension, the bushings on this thing, did a thorough job. And there are no squeaks coming out of the windows, no rattles out of the suspension or anything like that. And it's decently quiet in here. Like, seriously, top 10. Alright, so we're cruising here in third gear. And there's fourth gear. I mean, that was a really bumpy area. My brand new truck doesn't even sound. Well, it's not brand new, but a 2020 Ram doesn't sound as good as this. Which is crazy. So, anyways, fourth gear. We're going to downshift into third gear. Accelerate here. There's 45 miles an hour, fourth gear, and fifth gear. So 50 miles an hour there. Again, just handles the road like a champ. Alright, so let's get on the brakes here. Alright, excellent. No grinding, no squeaking. No pulling right or left. Now the one thing I will say about this gearbox is that first gear is kind of hard to find. It's real close to reverse, and that's the only flaw. Everything else in the gearbox feels real solid. There's no grinding or clunking during gear shifts, so that should be first right there. All right, there we go. So let's go through the gears one more time. Engine sounds perfect. And again, this is going to be one of my lowest price defenders because of its cosmetic flaws. It does need to be cleaned up, some attention given to some rusty areas, but engine's great, gearbox is great, and the ride is so smooth. Alright, and there we go. Okay, thanks for watching.